Okay, so Jyotsna, let's proceed ahead with your mock interview for account officer in HPCL, and you are a chartered accountant, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we want very brief introduction from your side, Jyotsna.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. My name is Jyotsna. I'm from Manchiral district of Telangana. I'm a chartered accountant. I have qualified in November 2020 attempt with 67% marks, and I have done my schooling in my hometown itself. From thereafter, I have continued my studies in Hyderabad. I have throughout my studies, I have good academic scores. Like my performance has been consistent, and I have completed my 3 years of articleship from Sridhar Mohan and Associates. It's a mid-sized chartered accountant firm in Hyderabad, from where I have handled assignments in the areas of accounting, bookkeeping, internal audits, and taxation, direct taxation and indirect taxation. So
Mhm.
currently, I'm working with Deloitte for the past 2 months as a associate solution advisor. And to talk about my interests, I like learning about stock market and investing. And I also like to watch YouTube videos on economy related videos like monetary systems and the past historical financial crisis videos. And I also like to do paper crafting. To talk about my family, my father he is a farmer and also a Hamali worker. My mother is a tailor. I have two younger siblings, sir. Both are currently studying. That is about myself, sir.
Okay, so Jyotsna, I have a couple of questions to ask you. First question is why you want to join HPCL if you're already working in Deloitte, recently joined it. So why HPCL only?
Sir, it's been my dream to work for a PSU since a very long time. And ever since the HPCL recruitment notification came out, I always imagined myself to be working with it. Because it's a Maharatna CPSC company, and the being a PSU, the scale of operations are vast and large. So I think it will benefit me in terms of exponential learning opportunities and career growth. And being a PSU, it can offer me a better work-life balance also. And as I said in the introduction part, I like to learn about economy. So I believe that by working in HPCL, I can learn how the oil sector will have an impact on the economy. So these are the reasons I want to join HPCL, so that my career would be great. But one cannot ignore the fact that it's also a competitive job. I mean, there is a huge competition for it, and it comes with uncertainty also. And the present situation is also not good, where one is struggling to get a job. I didn't just think it would be prudent of me to turn down a good job offer. It's like Deloitte is like a plan B for me, sir. That's why I have joined there and still aspiring to work for HPCL.
Okay, but if you joined HPCL thinking it is public sector and tomorrow it gets privatized, then how you are going to react to that?
Um, so as I mentioned, the reasons it's not only HPCL a public sector, but is also I'm passionate about the industry. That is what I was saying also.
Okay. So, Jyotsna, my second question to you is, do you know anything about account activities in HPCL which you're going to do? Okay, so I was asking Jyotsna that are you aware about the profile as account officer in HPCL which you are going to have, your roles and responsibilities?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Mm, the roles include preparation of financial statements and bookkeeping, and also preparation of profit statements, cash flow statements, or it might be in the budget preparations also, like MIS reports. It could be in
So it is said that
the role is
HPCL work.
related to that, sir.
Yeah, Jyotsna, it is said that HPCL, unlike other oil sectors, there are other oil companies also. Unlike them, HPCL deals with the different verticals in the supply chain of hydrocarbon. Are you aware about that?
Uh, I don't have an idea on that, sir.
Okay, so you said that you update yourself regularly about the economic news in the nation, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the biggest economic news in the country as of now?
The biggest news in the economic news is that, sir, the recent announcement or recent update of World Bank that is being made on the Indian growth rate, sir. Earlier, it has estimated at 10.1% that Indian economy will grow it for the financial year 21-22, and it has restated, it has revised that estimate to 8.1% as of June 1st, and I think that is the biggest news, and
Any
it's also
positive,
relevant.
any positive indicator, economic indicator as of now in India?
As of now, we can say that for the past 2 months, the cases have been on the rise. I mean, country has uh, it has seen out very a large number of COVID cases, but due to implementation of lockdown in almost all the states, the cases, the number of cases have fallen, and the vaccination process is also uh, it's also taking place. So maybe it can be considered as a positive indicator, sir, that economy can revive and
So see, Indian economy is hitting $600 billion of forex reserve. Are you aware about that?
uh, I'm sorry, sir.
Recently,
Can you
RBI
repeat
governor
again?
told. Do you know who is RBI governor, Josna?
Yes, sir. He is Mr. Shaktikant Das, sir.
So he declared the forex reserve of India has hit $600 billion, right? And we are getting more than $80 billion of foreign direct investment per annum. That is something which is very, very positive in India. So what are the repercussions of that? Very high forex reserve and very high FDI. What is the interpretation of that for Indian economy?
For Indian economy, maybe that is the result of the Union Budget 21-22, sir. Because in Union Budget this year, the Nirmala Sitharaman has allocated a a high amount for the capital expenditure in terms of infrastructure, um, and also increased the FDI limit for insurance sector from 49 to 74%. So um, these could be the reasons that why the foreign investments are increasing, that are flowing into the country.
Okay, over to you, Saklani sir.
Okay, so Jyotsna, since you are aspiring to get into HPCL, which is related to oil, right?
Yes, sir.
So can you let us know why oil prices are increasing, and they have become as you know, in some states it has even crossed this 100 rupees per liter. So what is the reason of increasing? Like,
Yes, sir. Uh, so to understand how, I mean, why the oil prices are increasing, we have to know what components are there in the prices. Like there is purchase price. I mean, the import price is there. The excise, the customs import duties are levied on the crude oil, and on manufacture of petrol and diesel, excise duties are levied, and sales taxes are levied, the freight charges and dealers commission. All these components are there in the oil prices. So if we analyze each component on the purchase price, Indian government will have less control, because that is derived from the international market. But
how's the
what
situation of
government can
international
do
market
to
right now?
reduce the oil prices? I'm
So
sorry,
Jyotsna,
sir.
how's the situation of international market in terms of oil prices? Are they stable, decreasing, or increasing? How's the situation?
Uh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm not really aware of that.
Okay, so can you, okay, so you're letting us know the overall factors which are influencing. So as per your like explanation,
Yes.
it seems that because the import prices are too high and maybe the taxes, etc., and that is why the prices are high over here in India, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that is the only reason that you
The
see.
taxes or the and also the dollar rupee exchange rate can also contribute to higher prices because the major oil requirement is met through imports only. It's like
So,
84% of the annual requirement is met through imports. So
so how the dollar exchange rate has
if the dollar
recently.
price is hiking,
So Jyotsna, can you let us know about the dollar vis-a-vis Indian rupee? How the situation is right now? Has Indian rupees appreciated or depreciated recently?
I'm not updated on.
Mhm. Okay, so Jyotsna, you also mentioned something about the financial statements that you think you may be dealing with if you join HPCL, right? You mentioned something about cash flow
Yes,
statements,
sir.
budget preparation, and maybe profit and loss statement, all those, right? And before
Yes.
just going into that, let me just ask one question. You also mentioned that you are interested in stock market.
Yes, sir.
So why do you have interest in stock market?
It's like listening to the news and when my friends are already talking,
Mhm.
it's just like fascinating kind of thing, sir.
So
And
have you
when I
invested
was
in
studying
stock market?
strategic financial management, I'm just making smaller investments. I'm not larger because I'm not currently earning much. So I started.
Mhm.
I have invested in few IPOs, but only one has been
So why
allocated.
the
Sorry.
stock market is rising so much? If you go back roughly about 1.5 year back or so, not 1.5 year, even if you go by 1 year back, the stock market was somewhere around 40,000 or so, right? And
Currently,
now it
it's
has
around
gone beyond even like if we
52,000.
talk about Sensex, it has gone beyond even 50,000. So what
Yes,
does
sir.
this indicate? Has the real this progress is going on, or simply it is a speculation?
Mm, some arguments are there, sir. I mean, last time I checked, some arguments are like the bulls are on rise and there is an opportunity for correction and all. But um, I believe that it's mostly due to overvaluation, sir.
Overvaluation.
Yes.
Okay. So okay, let me just discuss some points with you related to your financial statements. So you mentioned about like cash flow statements and profit and loss statement and all that, right? So
Yes, sir.
how this profit and loss statement is different from balance sheet?
Sir, the balance sheet it indicates how the financial position of the company is like it can reflect the net worth of the company and the assets and liabilities, whereas the profit and loss statement it will reflect the financial results of the company, like how much sales are generated, how much expenses are being incurred by the company, what is the profit the company is making, and all those items will come under the statement of profit and loss.
Mhm.
Whereas in case of balance sheet, the assets and liabilities. So what I mean to say is generally the real accounts are mentioned under the balance sheet, and nominal accounts come under the profit and loss statement.
Mhm.
So in balance sheet, real and personal account also come.
Mhm. So you mentioned that balance sheet contains something like assets, liabilities, etc., right? So can you name a few assets which are mentioned in the
Yes,
balance sheet?
yes. Assets, they will be presented under non-current assets and current assets. So under non-current asset, property, plant and equipment will be there. So property, plant and equipment means it can be buildings, it can be plant and machinery, it can be furniture. So normally it's a property, plant, land and buildings and all. And capital working progress will be there under non-current assets,
Okay,
other
so
goodwill,
can you let
other
me know just
intangible assets and
okay,
financial assets.
Jyotsna, let's say
Yes, sir.
you have
Yes,
to
sir.
give a dividend to your shareholders, right?
Mm.
Right. So
Yes, sir.
is it a liability or is it a asset?
Dividend, actually companies under no obligation to declare the dividend. So until it is declared, company, it's not a liability, it's not an asset for the company. However, once declared, it will become a liability for the company. Company has to pay the dividend. So however, it's not a liability, it will be just an appropriation of profit. So it
Mhm.
will not come under the liability side, it will be reflected under the statement of changes in equity.
Mhm.
Um, it will be adjusted from the profit, sir.
Mhm. And gratuity is long term. This current or non current? This what kind of liability is it?
Yeah. When we see the definition of current liabilities, it says the liabilities which are due to be settled within the operating cycle or within the next 12 months from the reporting period, those are the current liabilities and others are the non-current. So if we take gratuity, generally gratuities will be payable to those employees who have completed 5 years of service in the company, and they will be payable only at the time when the employee is leaving. So um, for those employees who are about to leave the company within 12 months, the provision for gratuity pertaining to those employees have to be shown and presented under the current liabilities and current provisions. Other amount, remaining amount has to be shown under the non-provision.
Mhm.
I mean long provision.
Okay. So one more question, Jyotsna, from my side. You mentioned that you're already working in Deloitte and you are carrying out internal audits, etc. Am I correct?
No, sir. And in Deloitte, the work is it's a
Yes, Jyotsna. Am I audible?
I'm extremely
Okay. Okay. So you're
I'm
not
really sorry.
going for internal audits
Oh,
as of now in this Deloitte, right?
yes, the
So what is the
profile
difference
is
between internal and external audit? How they are different?
so internal audit is an audit that where the auditor will report on the internal efficiency and effectiveness of the internal controls. He has to report on whether there are internal controls in the entity and whether they are working efficiently or not. When it comes to the statutory audit, external audit, it's the reporting on the fair and true view of the financial statements of the company, whether they have been prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles or not, and whether they are reflecting the true and fair view or
Okay, so
not.
normally, as you know,
So that is
Jyotsna,
how they are differentiated.
Jyotsna, as you know, in case of internal audits, it is basically the company or the organization decides about who is going to carry the internal audit, right? That may also influence the quality of the internal audit, isn't it?
Yeah, sir.
So, can you let us know something how it can influence and how
But
the balance has to be maintained? Because on one side, business is involved for that auditing company, and on the other hand, you have to kind of maintain that sanctity of the audit also.
yes, sir.
So
The auditors have to adhere to the ethics. I mean, the Chartered Accountants Act, the ethics of the profession they have to follow. So um, otherwise, disciplinary action will be taken against.
I think we can give feedback.
right. So, okay, Jyotsna. So let me just give feedback from my side, and then Dr. Vijendra can proceed. Okay, so I'm audible.
You are audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Jyotsna, I think like your technical part, okay, you seems to be okay, but the general portion, like which you mentioned over there, for example, you mentioned about like I asked you one question because you're going into the oil sector, so you should have the knowledge of oil sector. What are the import duties, custom duties, and current Indian in India, how much tax is levied and all those. The data you must have in hand. And also you're mentioning that you're very much interested in the economy and related issues. So you watch those videos and all that. So that is not matching. That should match. Okay. So I asked some of the questions related to oil sector, like why the oil prices are rising and all that. So you are just elaborating the terms, but you are not explaining why, what is the reason, how it is related to international prices, and how the domestic factors are playing the role. Whether the government is also reducing, or the companies, oil companies are reducing in the same amount or not, or whether those taxes are too high at presently or not, right? So please get those figures, just cross check all those details, and also the custom and import duties of this, and what is the breakup of that custom or import duty on these oil products or crude oil that we import.
Okay.
Right. And at the same time, I think you mentioned something about the stock market also. You are saying you're also investing and you're interested in that. So at least you should have the idea of how why the stock market is reacting so much, or why if it see more or less it is a speculative, and what are the fundamentals which make it more speculative at this particular point of time. So you must be able to relate all those points, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just go through those points, and I think then rest seems to be okay. And on the other points, Dr. Vijendra is going to give you the feedback.
Jyotsna, number one, your why HPCL, that answer is very, very long. You need not to give that long answer, right? Why you want to join HPCL, about your introduction, keep very, very brief and specific. Because 10 to 15 minutes, you have to summarize everything, you know. Interview normally is 10 to 15 minutes. So I found your answer, why HPCL, you're taking a lot of time. And then you said that you keep on updating yourself with the economy news, which we did not find is true. Forex reserve is the biggest news, $600 billion Forex reserve. FDI is $80 billion. These are the basically some kind of positive parameters in Indian economy. So just to go through this, what is the growth we are expecting? What are the various Indian sectors where we are getting positivity? So just focus on these things, and the rest will be okay. And as Saklani sir said, just focus on these things, and I think that is something which is required. So this is all from our side. Just prepare it well. Thank you. Thank you, Saklani sir.
Okay.